Hi, my name is Justine Lutterodt, and I'm director of the Center for Synchronous Leadership. We're a consultancy, think tank, and membership organization focused on systemic change and leadership in the corporate sector. So first off, I want to wish you all a happy International Women's Day. This is about celebrating, which is something we desperately need to do right now. Celebrating women and men who have helped move the dial when it comes to gender inequality. But it's also a moment to reflect, because lots is changing right now. Lots is changing and moving forward, but some things are rolling back, and we all need to stop and notice. Where is there gender bias? Where is there gender bias in our organizations, our teams, our families, our own heads? And what is it costing us? What is it costing us now? What will it cost us down the line? Because what we do now, how we form things right now, is going to have some long-term implications. And then we need to ask ourselves, what are we doing and is it enough? And this is a continuous conversation that I've been having with myself and that I commit to taking forward. Because I choose to challenge. It's nothing new for me. Because as a young ethnic minority girl who happened to have a talent for maths, my existence was a challenge to many. I remember in middle school coming across a Barbie doll that said, "I hate maths," and thinking, what am I supposed to do with this? How am I supposed to fit in with my peers and be accepted while also achieving my potential? And that was a challenge. In university, it got worse. I majored in maths. I was often one of the only girls and one of the only people of African descent in all of my maths classes. The professors were not used to seeing someone who looked like me, someone who dressed like me. And I remember them not knowing what to think. So when I went to one of them for office hours and I said, "Can you help me?" his response was to make me solve a very difficult problem before he would help me. And when I solved it, he exclaimed, "You can think," which told me a lot about his expectations of me versus my expectations of me. And that gap was a challenge. It was a challenge even more so in the corporate world, where being friendly, being nice, being feminine was welcomed, but not necessarily easy to reconcile with being ambitious, with wanting respect, and with wanting to achieve my potential. And so my existence was a challenge. Navigating the corporate world and the corporate hierarchy was a challenge. And I struggled to find role models who could help me. And often I had to be my own role model, which was a challenge. And I rose to that challenge. I sometimes stumbled, sometimes clumsy, but I kept on going and I chose to challenge. And when I launched my business 10 years ago, I faced another set of challenges, engaging with very senior executives and being 10 years younger than I am now. Often, many of them weren't quite sure how I fit in what they were used to seeing. And I had to pioneer and explain who I was. I had to create a vision that they could buy into at a point in time when I was trying to build my own confidence at the same time. So sometimes existing, sometimes achieving your own potential is a challenge. It has been for me. But in addition to that, I also choose to challenge on behalf of other people. I will always try, when I see gender bias at work, to call it out or do something to interrupt it. But in addition, I have launched initiatives, such as the Africa Women's Circle in 2010, such as Lead Like a Woman in 2012, initiatives that have celebrated and highlighted women and allowed them to connect and be understood better by not just women, but also men. In 2013, I launched an initiative called Inspire Like a Man, realizing that it wasn't just women who were being held back by gender expectations. Men were allowed to have power, that wasn't the issue, but expressing vulnerability was a challenge. And until men were allowed to express vulnerability and have balance and sort of embrace their full selves, it was going to be difficult for women to have the level of empowerment required. And so this was an interdependent journey. And so I've continued to be on a journey of learning about gender bias, gender inequality, how it relates to leadership, and challenging as I go. But what I hope is that as I challenge, I don't alienate. I think that this is an important time to be very authentic in expressing and in challenging without alienating, because I invite everyone to be on a journey. I believe everyone needs to be on a journey. Men and women need to be on a journey of all colors together in order to create the system that is going to serve all of us. And so I choose to challenge. I hope that you will join me and that together we can create real change.